Welcome to Tungsten Tales, ladies and gentlemen. We're at Unicorn in Nottingham with the 5 times champion of the world, Raymond van Barneveld. Raymond, when did it all start?
Back in 1984. A school friend of mine, sometimes I had a sandwich in a break, say from school. I came to his house and had a sandwich there, and he started practicing the old doors. I said, "What's this? You kind of like this game, Ray?" He said, and as soon as I know, I bought an old set. You know, in April it's always my birthday, so I ask a dartboard for my birthday, and start practicing every single day back in the attic in The Hague.
Yeah. Then the Rotterdam Open, was it the Rotterdam Open?
Yeah, that was the end of that year. So I started in 1984, and then I always came to a pub when my father was a carpenter. You know, he did some things and worked for the pub there. Played in a team, you know, locally competition team. And then after a couple of weeks was a guy. His name was Jan Brouwers, and he said, "Oh, you're a good player." And he asked my dad, you know, "Can I bring Raymond to the open tournaments in the circuit in Holland?" And my dad said, "Yeah, fine. If Raymond thinks," yeah, I said, "Of course I want it." You know. And after 3 tournaments, I won the Rotterdam Open.
Fantastic.
So with almost 1,000 people, and so then my name was born. Everyone knew who I was. But after that, it was harder and harder because everyone knew what I could do on the board. So everyone was focused against me. And then I lost a lot of games in 1984. But I reached the national team in the so-called 3 countries tournament with Belgium and France.
Right.
And for the first time, I won a national shirt at the end of the year. So it made me proud.
Yeah, very much so. Now, then on a few years later, 1990,
Yeah.
the WDF Europe Cup singles, you ran into somebody called Phil Taylor.
Yeah, I remember that in Malta. The first time I ever heard of him was winning the Lakeside, of course. And I thought it was the greatest player ever. It looks like so easy watching him. And then I played him in Malta. It was back in '90. And a former mate of mine, Bert Vladingerbroek, he played the Lakeside a couple of times. And when Phil beat me 4-2 in Malta in the Europe Cup singles, I got picked because the BDO board was there. They saw me playing well, and they wanted to give me a chance to go to Lakeside, you know, back in the old embassy, instead of Bert Vladingerbroek, because of that match against Phil.
Because that one match, yeah.
I blew it there in '91. I played really bad against Keith Sullivan the first year. And all the officials said to me, "Ray, cheer up, you're coming back next year." And I'm thinking, "No, how do you know?" He goes, "I have to work hard for that." And the following year I was not that, because in Holland we had a system. You have to be the number 1 from Holland, and you can play qualifiers just before the Women World Masters to qualify for Lakeside. So 92 I wasn't there, and 93 I played Graham Miller in the first round. And he was a bit of a spoiler, of course, because the 1 year before that he reached the semi-finals, and I beat him in the first round with a great 164 finish.
Nice.
And in that year I shared a room with Bob Anderson. He was absolutely one of the biggest heroes I had, and I learned a lot from Bob Anderson that week.
Yeah, because he was the '88 world champion in that, and then you end up losing 3-2 to John Lowe, of course.
Yeah, in the same year.
Yeah, because that was the last year before the split in darts, the video
true.
split. So 90, and then a couple of years later, you beat Martin Adams, but you lose 6-3 in the first world final against Richard Brenner.
Yeah, but it was a nice story. I went to that Lakeside with only 3 sets of flights.
Is that what you expect?
And they were busted before the final. So even Bobby George had to make some phone calls to get some flights organized for me. So I never ever thought I could reach the final there.
Really?
I was a good player though, but I never ever thought I could reach the Lakeside final. I wasn't even busy with winning it. So to me, I was already happy to be in the final.
Just to be there.
And to be happy in a final and not thinking about winning it. If you don't have the dream winning it, or you're just happy the way it is at the moment, you can't win it. And Richie played awesome, of course. He was a deserved winner there, 6-3. But I always said to myself, I will come back.
And you did 3 years later.
Yeah.